Watching what really happens when you skip school. Let's get it. It's by cheats. Let's get it. Hold on, shit. I'm tripping. I ain't even got my headphones on. I'm eating too crazy. Y'all ready? Let's go.
Alright, let's be real. Who hasn't thought about skipping school at least once? Maybe you woke up, stared at the ceiling, and thought, do I really need to go in today? You already know it's gonna be one of those slow, miserable days, so you're weighing your options. Do I get up, drag myself to school, and sit through boring lectures, or do I stay home, watch Netflix, and eat cereal straight out of the box? Now, I skipped entire days of school once or twice. Most of the time when I was, quote, skipping, it was either I was sick for the day and had to stay home, or I just skipped one class that I knew was gonna be meaningless. I wasn't some deadbeat delinquent that just sat at home and skipped school to play Fortnite and smoke weed, so I don't have any stories of adventures I went on while skipping school, and this video we're gonna just talk about the pros and cons of skipping school. Is it the ultimate life hack or a dumb decision waiting to bite you in the back? Let's break it down. So you know what they say, the golden rule is that too much of anything is bad and everything can be healthy in moderation, something like that. I mean, I don't know if you can like do meth in moderation, but you get the point for this video. I think if you skip school like on certain days with a clear plan of what you want to achieve and like a goal, maybe once a month or whatever is okay. But the first thing I want to highlight is the fact that, you know, you can just have a mental health day, like a mental health reset. And I guess that kind of counts as skipping, but school can be exhausting, right? You have tests, homework, deadlines, teachers breathing down your neck. And let's not even talk about the social drama of school. It can be like running a marathon that never ends. And taking a day off can feel like hitting the refresh button on your school. It can be like running.
Can we talk about how fast this nigga running, bro? Damn, like this nigga is gone.
Marathon that never ends, and taking a day off can feel like hitting the refresh button on your brain. No alarms, no lectures, just a day to do whatever the heck you want. Mental health days are valid, bro. You're not a robot, and sometimes your mind just needs to chill. And let's be honest, teachers say they care about mental health, but they assign 4 essays like it's kindness. It's pretty ironic that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, but May is also the time where teachers are spamming you with tests, quizzes, essays, whatever, because it's almost the end of the school year. Now, I know a few schools allow for mental health days in the form of excused absences and stuff like that, but some schools, and honestly most schools, are super strict about this stuff. Like, if you don't have cancer, if you're not dying, you should be at your desk studying math. It's kind of insane. And so if you need to just bullshit and say that you are sick with COVID or something in order to get that mental health day.
All right, let's stop right there real quick. Who didn't skip school? I know I have plenty of time. I ain't gonna cap. Sometimes it just be like what he said, it just be one of those days that you be like, bro, I'm tired of school, bro. I don't feel like going there. Or it's one of the days you know you ain't doing shit. And you just like, we just gonna be in that motherfucker sitting down. There's no point of going, bro. Just like that. Hey, leave it in the comments, bro. I'd like to hear y'all stories, bro. No cap.
You need. I don't think anyone should fault you for that. You know, your parents should work with you because the school isn't going to. And that kind of leads me to my next point, where faculty and teachers always want you in the classroom every day no matter what. Even though some days there are absolutely pointless lessons, days where you're learning little to nothing. And sometimes you can see those days coming, right? Like based on the days before, what you went over, what's happening, you can predict that maybe this certain day, like let's say Wednesday, is going to be an absolute nothing burger. Even if you don't need the mental health day, if you're going to skip for whatever reason, like you want a degen day to play video games or go on an adventure, which we'll get into the adventures in a bit, but if you want to skip for whatever reason, just to maybe be a delinquent, whatever, do it on a day where there's nothing happening. You ever show up to school and it's one of those days where nothing important happens? Half the class is missing because of some field trip that you didn't sign up for, and your teacher decides it's movie day, or worse, you spend 2 hours watching a slideshow about safety drills that everyone will forget by tomorrow. Why not just stay home instead? Honestly, skipping these filler days feels like beating the system. It's like fighting a cheat code in real life. Why sit through 8 hours of nothing when you could be at home mastering Mario Kart? It is in my...
I don't cap, that's facts. And I paused it at 318. That's crazy. 318, my area code. Well, not my area code, but my hood area code, you know what I'm saying? But for those type of days, like sometimes teacher tell you that you got schoolwork and shit, and you go and then y'all not doing nothing. Y'all do that one thing and y'all not doing nothing. So you just walk out. Not walk out, like say you gotta go to the bathroom, you know. Everybody know when somebody say gotta go to the bathroom and we ain't doing nothing, that nigga not coming back, bro. I'm telling you. That nigga not coming back. That's why they be trying to say take the hard pass, but you just leave that. You don't take that motherfucker. Just leave it. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I used to do that. And I used to always have this little shawty I used to, you know what I'm saying, be able to just go in the hallways with, you know what I'm saying, talk to on the stairway and shit. Not doing nothing like that, bro. I know y'all little freaky niggas, you know, on the stairway, y'all get crazy on no. It was just straight talking, you know what I'm saying? But she was cool. And she was fine shit, nigga. Yeah. But hey,
My opinion, a kind of ridiculous double standard where teachers do not always feel obligated to craft a lesson plan or even make a day where you're going to be doing anything, but also expect you to show up every single time. Like, we can compromise. I'll show up to school if I'm going to be learning something. But skipping school isn't just about being lazy. It's about seizing the moment. You know those random days where you and all your friends decide, like, screw it, let's bounce? Next thing you know, you're hanging out at the mall, grabbing burgers, and making memories that are way more fun than that algebra class you were supposed to attend. Some of the best days in life come out of nowhere. Think about it, 10 years from now, are you going to remember the day that your teacher gave you a boring history lecture? Or that time you skipped school and had the most epic day out with your friends? Exactly. If the teacher's not going to plan a lesson, you should plan your own adventure. Plan something fun with your friends, make some memories. You're in school, so you're young. Have some fucking fun with it, man. I'm not going to lie, I probably, this is going to sound bad, I maybe should have skipped more back when I was in middle school or high school. Like, I would hear these stories of my friends in middle school who would play Fortnite for a few hours for high school. Like,
bro,
I would hear these
like, come
stories
on.
of my friends in middle school who would play Fortnite for a few hours with their friends who were skipping, and then they would go from Fortnite to one of each other's houses, either swim in the pool or play basketball for hours, and then they would go get lunch and then hit the mall, go exploring, and I would see it all over their Snapchat stories, which isn't the greatest idea. I mean, you could easily get caught and snitched on, which, you know, we'll get into that, the risk of skipping and stuff like that later, but they would shove it in our face when we were at school. They would not stop talking about how fun it was to not be at school when they were at school. To be fair, these people weren't even taking school seriously to begin with. Like, when they actually were in the building, they would just play Fortnite mobile. So it's like you're literally doing the same thing you were doing at home, but instead of it being on the Xbox, it's on your iPhone. But I mean, they're all in college now, so I guess it kind of worked out some way or another. Now, just because it worked out for them, it doesn't mean you should be doing it like often. Now, we're gonna talk about the biggest buzzkill of skipping, which means missing schoolwork, and it stacks up fast. What starts as just one skip day can snowball into a mountain of assignments, quizzes, and group projects that make your brain hurt just thinking about it. Here's the worst part. Teachers do not care if you were sick, tired, or just not feeling it. You're still responsible for every little thing you missed. Skipping school isn't like pressing pause on a video game. Life keeps moving, and if you're not careful, you'll be playing catch up for the rest of semester. These guys are ruthless, you know? I had teachers that wouldn't even care if you told them you were sick or anything. They would just slap a 0 in the grade book and let you deal with it later. And sometimes they wouldn't even tell you what you missed. Like, if you missed it, you would have to investigate what you missed and hopefully get the thing you were in.
Yeah, that's one thing about it right there. See, a lot of people they scared to ask the teacher, you know what I'm saying, about what they miss, and that's how they get fucked up. Cause the teacher ain't gonna some teachers, like the mean ones, they not gonna tell you what you missed, bro. They gonna keep on going after day. If you don't go to that teacher and talk to her about your grade, you just gonna keep that 0, nigga. Hey.
Investigating correct, do the assignment, maybe you did the wrong assignment, and you were likely screwed. It sucked. And then you gotta worry about getting caught. Whew, this is probably the scariest part, right? You might think you're slick, but trust me, parents and teachers are like detectives. The moment you skip, they get suspicious. Your mom starts asking way too many questions. Why didn't you text me when you got to school? Your teacher sees that empty seat and makes a mental note for a future passive-aggressive comments in front of the whole class. And if you get caught, oh boy, parents will hit you with the classic, "You're throwing your life away" speech, like you just dropped out of Harvard. And teachers, they'll treat you like you committed a crime. Even if you had straight A's, one missed day makes them act like you're slacking off on purpose. But here's the curveball. Sometimes you skip thinking nothing important is happening, and then boom, you find out later there was a pop quiz or a major announcement. Now you're the one frantically texting your classmates like, "Yo, what do we do today?" And they hit you with the, "Dude, you missed everything." Suddenly you're scrambling to make up for lost time, and it's not a fun vibe. Trust me, it's a lot easier to show up in the first place than play detective, trying to figure out what you missed. Now that could be a quiz, test, or essay, something that you had to do for.
Okay, bro. African Zorn Wars, crazy. Nah, but don't y'all hate when y'all miss the day that a fucking celebrity come in, bro? Or not even a celebrity. Sometimes it be like the day that they let us do something fun, or you know what I'm saying, the day that the PE teacher finally let you play basketball. You feel me? Like shit like that. Man, I hate that shit. It's always that shit.
for class, but it could also be something very fun. Surprise field trip. Maybe the school lunch wasn't serving slop for once. They had nice cookies or cake or something. Yeah, that's
Nah, my bad, bro. But it was this day, bro. Now I remember, bro. At school, it was one time that this happened. Well, it happened a lot of times, but this is one specific time that I'm telling y'all, my nigga. But it was a day that you know how they have senior skip day or whatever. You know how they do that. So I did that or whatever. The day senior skip day, bro. All the niggas was in the fucking school fighting. It was like a fight. It was like 3-4 people fighting each other. It was crazy. It was a whole bunch of people, bro. That day I missed that because I wanted to skip. Like I wish I was there. I wanted to see the fight, bro. I be wanting to see that shit, bro. Damn, man.
it's not fucking happening. No chance. But there may have been a whatever surprise in the class. You missed it. So anyway, here's the quick guide on how to skip school smart if you must. Look, I'm not here to tell you to skip school, but if you do, here's how to do it right. 1. Pick your days wisely. Skip on a day where nothing major is happening. Avoid days with tests or project deadlines. 2. Have a solid excuse. If your parents ask, make sure you've got a believable story. Like, oh, I have a headache. Not, I needed to finish a show. 3. Get the lowdown from your classmates before you skip. Make sure you're not missing anything big like an assignment worth half your grade. 4. Don't make it a habit. 1 day off can be helpful, but 5 days off, that's called academic suicide. And last but not least, actually do something. Have some fun. Plan an adventure. So the final question is skipping school worth it? You know, at the end of the day, school might suck, but skipping too much comes with consequences. It's all about balance. Skip smart, not dumb. And if you're gonna skip, make sure it's worth it. Whether that means catching up on sleep, spending time with friends, or just recharging your batteries. Anyways, appreciate you guys watching. That has been my video. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like.
Facts. He going on there. Don't skip too much. Just like he said. Don't skip too much. But I don't cap. I didn't see motherfuckers skip too much and still pass. I don't know how. If you want to do that, then you gotta skip too much and then you gotta like catch up at the end. That's the only way to do it. You gotta like actually catch up. Like try to ask teachers, ask all your teachers, what can you do for makeup work, you know, that type of shit. But if y'all do that, y'all got it. Peace out.